Government is the public face tribes show the world, but culture is our heart. It's how we teach our children who we are and what we value. In our own country, every tribe has a rich tradition of art, music, stories, dance, and sacred rites that tell tribal people how to live our lives and how to treat each other. These lessons have great value for all Americans.
I think cultural preservation is and has been very important to all tribal groups in the country. There are over 500 tribes in the country. Each tribe is unique in its own way in that they have their own language, they have their own traditions, they have their own songs and dances that they perform. They have their own sacred rites, and so that's very important.
The art that you see behind is a picture of a native. You look into the face of the picture and you see the eyes that kind of go directly to the soul of the Mother Earth. The painting was done by Scott Hill from Oneida. It's called Guidance, and when you look at it, it looks deep into your soul. It's just as if the eyes see everything. It sees the vision that you want to have, for your people and for your culture. It's the vision that we want for all people. We're taught as young people, that we need to take care of everyone. And in that we need to teach them about our culture, our heritage, our being, how we respect the earth, the sky, all things, that is life, that represents our life.
If you look at the education system in this country, it goes all the way back to the development of boarding schools by the Department of the Interior 100 years ago, when we took the children away from their families and we wanted to take away the culture. The old policy of kill the Indian, save the man, that principle, it worked in a lot of ways. We stripped the Indians of their cultural identity for the most part, or at least that was the intent. In fact, it really didn't happen, because most of the tribal governments across this country have retained at least a measure of their cultural identity. And you see that through the languages, the customs and practices, and some of the ceremonial things that we do today.
Both my sister and myself are involved in a traditional dance group. That dance group was started primarily at the urging of my mother. And it was started primarily because she wanted us to make sure that we kept the songs and the stories of the Quixote people alive, and we would be able to pass them on to not only our relatives, our nieces, our nephews, and so forth, to make sure that these were carried on to future generations. And so that's what we've tried to do.
That's the foundation and the basis, that we talk about. My mother used to always tell me, never forget where you come from, because that's who we are and where we will continue to be, not only now but into the future. And so we have to continue to teach our children that responsibility of our life, our existence, our tradition, and the respect.
It's been a real privilege to learn about Native American art and culture and history, because it was not taught properly in the schools. I remember from social studies books and civics books, paintings of the period with, great raging Conestoga wagons stampeding, out of St. Louis with the image of Columbia floating above them, just sweeping across, and no mention whatsoever of Native Americans and, their feelings.
Even today, I think, the impacts of the outside world around our community, they challenge each business here and our people to keep our cultural identity. How do we fit into the outside world and still maintain what we value most true?
We all know that we live in this big melting pot called America, but not everybody wants to be melted. I think it's very important. And I think tribes around the country have demonstrated just that they are individual groups of tribes, groups of people that still maintain their own traditions and values and culture.
Italian Americans and African Americans each have holidays that honor them, but there's never been a day to honor Native Americans. That could change with the Native American Heritage Bill. If passed by Congress, it would set aside the Friday after Thanksgiving to recognize the contributions of American Indian culture to this country. Some see this bill as an educational tool, others as a way to build American Indian pride. But all supporters agree that it's long overdue.